Knowing when you should or shouldn't reduce your calories when cutting can be a frustrating question. One person will tell you if you drop your calories you're going to cause metabolic damage and screw up your metabolism, while another says the only way to lose weight is through a calorie deficit, so you have to drop your calories. So in this video I'm going to show you what to watch for to know when it's appropriate to drop calories and when you shouldn't. Hey, this is Colin DeWaay. If you're looking to get in better shape and you want to take the guessing out of the equation, as well as have someone coach you through who can be objective so you can get out of your own head, then sign up for online coaching. Link in the description. So you've been cutting and you're just not seeing results, and you're just kind of unsure what you should do, because you certainly don't want to drop your calories if you don't have to, not only for metabolism but also just to be able to enjoy more food and balance and flexibility. But you also don't want to stay stuck, and you want to make sure that you get the process working again. And the first thing you definitely need to understand is that plateaus are normal. They're gonna happen, they're pretty much unavoidable, and this is because of the metabolic slowdowns that happen when dieting. Not only because you probably weigh less now, so therefore you have less energy demand, but also just the hormonal changes that are associated with dieting as your body protects itself against fat loss. So the first thing I want to be very clear about is that metabolic damage does not exist. Yes, your metabolism slows down, but this is a suppression, and this is something that can be reversed by taking your time bringing calories up. This is called a reverse diet, where you gradually increase them and you can get back into a better place, so you don't have to panic about this. But at the same time, you don't want to fall into the trap of thinking, well, it's just a suppression, it's not damage, so I might as well just get super aggressive and I'll just reverse diet later since I can do this. The problem is that might be good in theory now, especially when you're not feeling so run down, but when you get down the road and calories have been low, you're feeling unmotivated, you're more tired, more hungry, and you're just not in a great place mentally anymore. Being able to stay diligent during that part of the process is extremely tough, and if you go into effort mode and overeat like crazy, maybe because you're feeling restricted, your hunger hormones are all out of whack, and with your metabolism being slower at that point, you're gonna gain weight quickly, something that's very common and keeps people stuck. So no matter what, you still want to eat as many calories as you possibly can while seeing results, looking to lose no more than about 1% of your weight on average per week, as this is what's been shown to be about the max pace you want to take to make sure you keep your metabolism in a good place, make sure you retain your lean body mass. And as much as it sounds like the opposite of what most people say, losing weight too fast just has a lot of negative implications and makes it much more likely to rebound later. But at the same time, you don't want to be afraid of lowering calories when necessary because you're afraid of hurting your metabolism, as sometimes you just have to get pretty extreme to be able to see the results you're after. Obviously this depends on your goals, where you're at right now, so of course it's a balancing act. And as far as how many calories is too low, you have to understand that low calories is relative. It's not the same for everybody, not only based on stats like height and weight and age and things like that, but just your overall genetics make up a big indicator. So you can take things like TDEE calculators and all these online calculators they have to try to get rough estimations, but it's not specific to you, the individual. And you can take two people with the exact same stats, and one person might be able to maintain their weight on several hundred calories more than the other. So it's tough to say X amount of calories is too low. Now I will say that typically you want to start being cautious if you're getting below about 8 to 10 times your body weight, as this is getting pretty low calorie for most people. Again, not everybody, and one of the things that's going to be a better indicator is looking for some warning signs that your calories are too low, that your body's starting to get into a bad place physiologically, and dropping more calories would probably be a mistake. Some of these signs would be being overly fatigued all the time, constantly cold, extreme food focus and a lot of binging behavior, finding yourself more irritable all the time, suffering from hair loss and brittle nails. For females, loss of period. These can all be indications, not necessarily all of them, but if you have many of them, it's probably a pretty good sign that you're running to the ground. And at this point, you absolutely do not want to lower calories and make things worse. It's time to start bringing calories back up, focus on getting back into a better place metabolically before you can cut again down the road, again without falling into the all or nothing mentality, as that is an absolute killer that keeps so many people stuck. And I've never seen anybody in my entire life, maybe there's somebody out there that exists, but I've never seen anybody who has the all or nothing mentality that's had any long-term success, because you just cannot be perfect all the time. And it's so important to think big picture and understand that this is going to be taken in phases, and that's okay. It has to be a lifestyle, so please don't force it if your body's fighting you this hard. Now, one huge mistake that you don't want to make that so many people do is if you're having a hard time sticking to the plan and you're constantly overeating, do not drop your calories. If you're already having a hard time sticking to the plan, how is being more extreme and eating less calories going to help you stick to the plan better? It's not. It's only going to make things worse. So please don't combat lack of consistency, lack of adherence with more extreme behavior. So if you're struggling, do not lower calories, and don't stay here either. Again, don't force it if it's not there. Start working on bringing calories back up. And honestly, if you've seen people who actually lose weight while reverse dieting, it's usually these people who are having a hard time sticking to the plan. But now that calories come up, it seems more realistic to be able to hit it. And now instead of overeating and restricting and constantly going all over the place, they're consistently hitting their numbers. Even though the target calories are higher, now their actual consumed calories is lower because they're adhering. And please, please, please do not overeat just because you're not seeing results. This is a killer, and it's destroying you, and it's leaving you with basically no hope of ever getting where you want to be. I mean, if you really think about this, this would be like getting a flat tire and then saying, well, I've already lost one tire, I might as well go slash the other 3 too because everything's ruined. You would never do that, and just because you're not losing the way you want to doesn't mean you should just start gaining, and what's the point? This is just totally backwards behavior, and I get it. You're not alone. So many people struggle with this thought process that it's something you need to strongly work on if you ever want to get there, and you need to be consistent to see where things are at, and that way, if you aren't seeing results, now you know how to make adjustments. But if you're saying screw it every time you get frustrated with the lack of result, now you don't know where things are at and what to do, and oftentimes that leads to this extreme behavior that's working against you. So those are all things that you should look for to not reduce calories if you're not losing weight. However, if you're not struggling with those things and you're stuck, well, now you're just in a normal weight loss plateau. So now you can go ahead and reduce your calories and or increase your activity to help create the calorie deficit you're after. But please note, we're talking about fat loss here, not just weight loss. Sure, it's fine to look at the scale, and that's a helpful tool, but it's not the be all end all. And at the end of the day, it's not the number on the scale that you're really looking for. It's body composition. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to other things like mirror, pictures, measurements, how your clothes are fitting. So don't assume just because the number on the scale isn't moving that you're automatically in a plateau. Look at these other things, and if everything is stuck, now we can go ahead and make some adjustments. Now, I do strongly recommend actually taking a diet break first before making your calorie adjustments. I don't want to get into a lot of detail in this video because it's going to be long enough already. I have a video about how to take diet breaks that you can look in the description if you want to know more. But the moral of the story is diet breaks are periods of increasing your calories for a bit, probably bringing down activity levels a little bit, and allowing your hormones and metabolism to recover, put you in a little bit better position. And then when you come back and adjust your calories, it often works much better. But regardless, when you have plateaued, you do need to adjust to make sure that you can get them going again. So at this point, you want to reduce your calories by around maybe 5 to 10% to help get things going. And you can also increase some activity, go for extra walks, maybe doing a little extra cardio. Again, nothing extreme, but we need to do something to help create that deficit again. And as adaptive as the body is, sometimes you do have to get pretty aggressive and on much lower calories than you'd like. It depends on what your goals are and what you're willing to do. So don't be afraid of getting into more ultra low calories, but it should be for a short period of time, understanding that you can't stay there forever. You can't be afraid to increase your calories when you're done and just stay stuck, because the longer you stay on those lower calories, the more your body's going to adapt, the more run down you're going to feel, and the harder it's going to be to stick to the plan. So if necessary, go ahead and do it, but get in and get out as quick as you can, and then start working your calories back up. And if you are stuck and it's already too low, you got to start the reverse at this point. Don't get stuck on you're not where you want to be. You have your whole life ahead of you. There's no rush. Take it in phases, and this is how you'll finally actually get where you want to be versus yo-yoing up and down and getting nowhere other than probably going backwards. Now, with all that being said, you may be wondering if there's a certain amount of time that's too long to diet, and to get the answer to that question, make sure you check out this top video next, and I'll talk about what you should look for. Otherwise, I think you'll like this bottom video instead. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in one of those other videos.